Oh wow!
Wow, first try.
I'm proud.
Hear me talk shit.
All right. No, we could actually. Well, I'll just get the rope here anyway. All right. 10 seconds, and I'll open us up.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, you must get over here or something.
Fired.
Yeah, no.
Real.
Be sure to.
None of you could have said anything. That one sound Eric made was like music to my fucking ears.
Fucking be sure to tip your waitress.
I couldn't have thought of anything better. I mean, you could have done just the get over here and really played up the accent, which I wouldn't have been happy with. I would have been real angry about that. Honestly,
I'm disappointed with you in any direction you went with that joke.
Son, you are disappointed.
I mean, I've already lived through that, and so
Damn.
I can't get word coming from any of you. Like,
Damn.
Well, but I don't have a Cookie Monster cup filled with vodka.
Jesus Christ!
This cup and your uncle.
Thanks to some people and their very unwanted posturing and I would say virtue signaling and inflated sense of self, I know exactly how much my dead uncle was worth, and that was $10,000.
Right, $10,000 once.
Yeah, once.
Like, I don't even know that dude, and he can fucking eat the largest dick that ever existed.
He's a self-help guru, Eric. Don't you know?
He can do my knees with his eyes. That's what he can do. Okay,
he can self-help himself into a garbage bin. How about that?
You don't get to just call yourself a self-help guru when you're not offering any real help.
He will not be named in this program, but someone this week decided to let me know that I'm wrong to laugh at Rush Limbaugh, who died recently this week.
Fuck Rush Limbaugh.
I has recently established, I had an uncle who passed away from HIV, and Rush Limbaugh used to read off people's names who died of HIV-related complications, and I took issue with that.
Yeah, now, and I took issue with that.
I took that personally.
Not to reveal too much about this person, but is he aware of what Rush Limbaugh said about being able to breathe in relation to?
Yeah, he glossed over that.
Kind of interesting.
He also glossed over all the horrible things that Rush Limbaugh has done over his long career.
Yeah, well, if he's so pro-life, why is he dead?
Why is he dead? Breaking news: Rush Limbaugh now dead on the outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
Name all the people that you're in favor of living. Name all of them. Do it now.
No one. Cool. Let's go on.
I want to see all of you dead equally.
It's my world, and it should be covered in the bones of my enemies.
Yeah, I want to sit upon a pile of the people I wish were dead. Anyway, welcome to a not so grim episode of After Dark. We're not going to set a tone with that. That was just topical. Mm-hmm. Also, so is Mortal Kombat, and so is The Running Man, all at the same time.
Yeah. We are going to revisit a topic that Hunter is a big fan of. No, we're not doing that right now.
What the WB shows? What?
No, no,
my favorite.
No. Schindler's List too.
No, stop. We cannot.
I had to.
What? You mean starring Batman?
Yes.
Listen.
Well, Hey,
wait. Hold on. Instead of Sophie's Choice, it's just the Riddler, and he's got two guns pointed at two children, and he's like, "Make your choice, Batman. One goes to the gulag."
Jesus Christ.
Well,
you made it much worse.
Finally, redemption.
Batman's like, fuck this.
Speaking of Batman,
what's wrong with you, Nigma?
I heard that Robert Pattinson was having sex on the Batmobile, and Matt Reeves doesn't want to work with him anymore. And I saw it, and they made a Bat baby. He and Zoe Kravitz.
So that was the first thing that I woke up to.
You know,
that
would make him the best Batman. I don't even care.
It would. No, it would make him. It would make him the champion of being Batman, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, So that's a story we found in what? It wasn't We Got This Covered. It was some other shitty ass
bounding into comics, which is a well-known Comicsgate supporter.
Okay, like you should not spearhead your Robert Pattinson is the bad Batman by coming up with a story that is the most awesome thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's
So like,
I'm highly envious of this fictional event I'm highly envious of this fictional event that is supposed to destroy the careers of everyone involved. And I'm sure even if first of all, what is Matt Reeves' fictional position in logistics? Did he walk in, flip the lights on in like the prop warehouse, or like this is the room where we keep the Batmobile? Here, I shall show you, tour group or something.
It's in the middle of a scene.
Yeah, what the fuck?
All I could think of when I first read that was the one episode of The Simpsons where Ralph is talking about Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner being in the closet when they got caught making out. Like, Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and the baby looked at me. Like, just insert various Batman things in there, and that's basically what bounding into comics
like,
reported.
Instead of just saying, like, based on rumors or allegedly, like, they include these weird anecdotal pieces. They're like, I saw it happen. I saw him finish. He groaned. It was on top of the Batmobile. It was messy everywhere. I saw it happen.
They were basing this off of a 4chan post.
Yes, the most reliable chans.
My favorite.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's favorite chan.
That place that was specifically built for anonymity and where lots of Nazis like to hang out.
Yes, that place where a man confessed to murder and then showed his murdered girlfriend. Yeah, that place. Is full of virtue.
Yeah. And the
only
hottest
good
Batman
thing
news.
about it. The
hottest Batman story.
Yes, the most hot. Exactly.
So the alleged story is I don't think we actually detail yet. Is that Matt Reeves walked in on Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz allegedly banging on top of the Batmobile. Like,
hell yeah!
Even if you're the stuffiest of Hollywood directors, even if you're Stanley Kubrick ghost, and you walked in on, I don't know, Jack Nicholson fucking going to town on top of Shelley Duvall on top of the typewriter, I don't think he'd be like, that's it. I'm never.
I don't really want to think about this.
Maybe.
I'm never finishing this movie, and I don't want to see this man ever again.
Maybe that's why Shelley Duvall lost her shit. It wasn't because Kubrick was treating her poorly. It's because Jack never got to finish, and she never finished.
She's like, I'm not putting my bare ass on the keys, okay? That fucking hurts.
Christ.
Yeah, it's the most preposterous. Like, so last year I've read several of these stories that, like, within a few sentences are like, this is vapor. There's nothing about this that is real. And a lot of them are coming from these kinds of websites. And like, one of my favorites so far is like, Chris Hemsworth to quit Thor 4 because he doesn't want to be replaced by women.
Yeah.
I'm like, that wouldn't be
that tracks.
Gigantic news.
Yeah.
You know,
it also totally lines up with his very likable, approachable personality.
Yeah, he knows women can't go to space. That's why he doesn't want to.
Exactly.
What is this?
That's why he's so angry about being in Guardians 3, because there's a woman in space with him.
Yeah. He just doesn't like fiction. He doesn't like.
Wait, these aren't true stories.
The continued purported story that Pedro Pascal was quitting Mandalorian over and over and over again because he didn't want to wear a helmet. Even though he doesn't wear a helmet. Oh no, I'm sorry. He wanted to be under the suit more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted out of the easiest job on earth.
So exactly.
He wanted to forego the idea of getting paid to hold a pillow in a recording studio and act as if it's his child, and not have to do anything physical. And so he's going to quit.
Yeah, he wanted to give up a job that allows him to do hundreds of other jobs. It gives him the ability to be in other things also on top of what he already does. Yeah, he wants to give that up. Sure. Sure, he does.
That is like that observation is so funny to me because at one point, like he had that sci-fi movie with they're like, oh fuck, is it on Earth or some other planet? Like he's like a convict or something, and like they're tethered to each other. Prospect. Yeah. He had Prospect, Wonder Woman, Mandalorian, and like I think one other thing all going at the same fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
The dude's
they
amazing.
were at least he's been working for a long time, and like
actually I'm pretty sure we watched Wonder Woman and Prospect the same night at Ash's parents' house. Like
that's a weird.
I wish I was awake long enough to finish Prospect because I passed out from lots of food and booze and woke up to like I'm like, why is Pedro Pascal? What is happening? Fighting a man in the dark.
Well, I actually want to see it, so please don't say anything more about it because I've been meaning to watch it.
I couldn't tell you anything besides like what would sound like the fever hallucinations of a dying man because I'm on the couch with like my hand out, like, what? Tell me what's going on.
It's a great preview for whatever his Joel will be like, probably. Very similar in terms of tone. So yeah, that's also happening.
Episode and I've never watched that again.
Can we lament
show we don't need
the creation of that show?
I mean, we kind of had we should have last week. We really didn't focus on it enough. Yeah, Last of Us exists. It's gonna happen.
Sure.
The Last of Us is like okay. I'm gonna do a little quick self plug. I started a new Instagram page where I'm just like kind of doing. It's more of a therapist suggestion where I'm just kind of trying to get as much garbage out of my head at once so I can just think a little clearly. A lot of it just has to do with like movie thoughts. And I was on HBO Max. What?
Get the poison out.
Yeah, get the poison out. Exactly. And I was on HBO Max and I was like, wow, all the Crow sequels are on here. Why are there 3 Crow sequels?
One could argue, why was there ever even a sequel?
Well,
I think I made a good point about why that one is allowed to exist. But The Last of Us, like, it's very much the same thing. Like, that was a very pure story that you didn't need to touch. You didn't need to expand on it. In fact, when you did expand on it, I think you made it arguably worse. And now we're gonna have a fucking like a live action TV show based on it. And since they've expanded on the first game, I'm like, cool, I'm going to invest in this probably very likable version of Joel. And then the next season, are you going to adapt game 2 and make me hate his fucking guts?
Well, the thing that Lou pointed out when we were talking about it last week was that those games are already ridiculously cinematic. Yeah. And if you want to see the story of Last of Us and Last of Us 2, you can just watch them on YouTube or just play the games. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It blows my mind that people are excited for this, honestly.
It's because people like video games who also like video game movies want the exact same goddamn thing they just got done playing.
I don't want that.
No.
Okay, you know what? I'm glad we said that because I'm also glad I brought up Mortal Kombat because like there's people bitching about that already, but they're bitching about the dumbest fucking things.
Or like Japanese characters,
or like Japanese characters not having white man voices, or not being Japanese. And the Mortal Kombat movie trailer looks to be like a pretty decent departure from the source material, but they got all the aesthetics right, and they're leaning into the things about Mortal Kombat that absolutely fucking work, which is hyper violence and fighting, and ridiculous fantasy stuff. And so it looks to me, it looks fantastic.
See, here's the thing. I think the video game movie is bad trope is dying. I really do.
Yeah.
It's like they're figuring out like, okay, if we make this, just make it a little bit different and then it'll work.
And like the existence of Cole was bothersome in that leak script I saw because I don't think there was any mention of him being related to Scorpion. I think he was just a random ass white dude who I think according to like early leaks was just like going around smacking around the Mortal Kombat cast. I think that's been really downplayed, and he's only in the first half of that teaser, and he just disappears.
Well,
and apparently this movie, they bumped up the character cast from the original games, and have seemingly added more shit in that would make people happy. And it's not the game, but they're taking the things about the game that are the strongest, like the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and they're building on that, and that's a really good idea.
I'd argue that's the better part of Sonic 2 is like where they were like, we could make like a 1-to-1 adaptation of like these comics or whatever that exists, or we could just make a fun kids movie, and that's what they did.
Exactly. And like honestly, the trailer for Mortal Kombat shocked the fuck out of me because I didn't know about Goro. 2, didn't know about Reptile. 3, the radically different look for Scorpion being like a fucking undead samurai. Yes, please. Sub-Zero making a dagger out of somebody's blood. Why hasn't that happened before? But with Last of Us, like, what are you gonna pull from the game to make it different?
Yeah,
literally. Well, they could have.
The game was made to be a movie as a game.
With Mahershala Ali, they could have, but they didn't get him.
Yeah.
I mean, to go back to something that you said earlier, Connor. So there's a fundamental misunderstanding from people who play the game anyway, which is you're not actually supposed to root for Joel.
He's a terrible person.
Yeah, you're supposed to realize that.
Yeah, I would say he's not. He does terrible things in the pursuit of protecting someone he cares about, which was what makes him interesting.
He's not a beloved character like Mario that people like.
Yes, and you can empathize with his position because you're like, I don't know how I could see myself doing something similar if I were to be acting in the interest of protecting someone I love. Like,
sure,
yeah, like committing atrocities is still committing atrocities. When you're doing it for no reason, you're just a villain. When you're doing it, as Joel, you're an interesting protagonist.
Right.
So, but I think Pedro Pascal is way too likable.
I agree, and I think that's the problem. Is this is a different medium?
Yeah.
And they're gonna lose some of that in translation unless they make him like a real dick out at the very beginning. And
honestly,
Pedro Pascal can do that, but yeah.
Also, with Joel, like, if you didn't have the opening 5-10 minutes of that game, I think he would be just wretched.
A terrible person.
Yeah,
he'd be an objectively awful guy.
That's the illusion of the game. You could argue that it's the game trying to trick you into not thinking that this person is, at the very least, like at the very center in terms of morality. He is not like a good person through and through. He is a flawed human being who does a lot of bad things that he doesn't need to do.
That's like Cosmonaut's point in his review of the second game. Is like he's like, Joel is not like to be celebrated. He's not. He's a dude who did terrible things in the service of someone else, but he's still like a bad guy.
Yeah, and it's not like he commits murder to a point where it's like, man, this is a bit of overkill. I don't think you had to go as hard on these people as you did, but you did. And just because it's also still fresh on my mind, like I did a little piece about a character Hanbei from 13 Assassins, and he's another character who I was like, he's doing some very like empathetic shit while also working directly under an absolute psychotic bastard who likes to murder people, who likes to dismember children. But the character of Hanbei is basically his right-hand man who has a sworn duty to protect this lord. And the whole movie, he just bubbles with like, I could just let these guys kill this dude. Like it could just happen, but that would be I would smear my own honor and I would fail, and that would ruin me. And like I just won't break my code.
Honor's
so it makes
overrated.
him interesting. Huh?
Honor's overrated.
Wow, thank you for spoiling Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, so is keeping your head in that movie. There's lots of heads that literally roll. In some cases, they get chopped off, and then there's a quick camera cut, and they fly into a different room.
Yes.
Because they've just sailed and spun so fucking hard.
I'm shocked it took you this long to see that movie. That movie is fucking phenomenal.
I know, and like, as I'm watching, like, okay, so like an hour in, because the first hour is like lots of exposition, but it's never boring. And at some points, I'm like, this is like it's Miike, so he knows horror, and he uses his horror knowledge to make you just patently uncomfortable with lots of stuff. And because of the way he uses violence in movies, like every time this Lord Naritsugu murdered somebody, I was like, I want to see him bathed in acid. Like, I cannot stand this fucking person. He is the most vile piece of shit I've ever seen. And then like Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I maintain that like 13 Assassins is Mike finally cracking the code that he created. Like, how can I make these ridiculously horrible things happen in my movies but still make it appealing to a general audience? Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Like it all finally clicked with 13
he
Assassins.
has this guy commit these just like absolute atrocities, but he makes this guy eat so much shit. When they drop those gates onto the in the town, I stood up in my empty room, stood up because I did not think they were gonna corner this fucking army of 200 dudes in this tiny ass little fucking ghetto in the middle of Japan, and then just beat the fuck out of them for like, I don't know, 60 minutes.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
It's great. Yeah, Arlen, have you seen 13 Assassins?
No, it's on my list though. After all the talk that's been
really
had about
good.
it, so
Good.
Yeah.
And then the inclusion of that the hunter character, I was like, okay, this movie just leveled itself up because I thought they left with 13 people, and they find this dude in a cage, and he's like, "Where you going?" And you're like, "To kill a lord." He's like, "Cool, I want to come."
Yeah.
I'll bring my giant cool bolas.
Yeah. Yeah, Hunter. Arlen, the best way to describe it would be like it's like Connor put it really well by saying like it's like Fury Road in a lot of ways. Like it's this glorifying or gloriful like just destruction and wanton violence for the last hour, and it's a director hitting on all cylinders.
Fury Road redefined like a chase, and this movie for me redefined a small scale confined action sequence that got progressively more interesting every time something happened.
And in all honesty, it redefined Takashi Miike for me.
Yeah, at some point, this is not really a spoiler, but like the Hanbei actually is getting Lord. He's like, all right, we have a way out of this fucking city or this village. They turn a corner and hit this pass, and there are just swords stuck in fucking everything. Literally everywhere. They are stacked on each other, they're stabbing the walls, and there's one guy standing there with his apprentice. And he says one sentence. He says, I think he says, Orogu. He says, Orogu, kill every man that gets past me. Yep. And then the army attacks him, and he is picking swords up at random places and just cutting people down, dropping a weapon, picking up a new one, cutting people down, and just rinse, lather, repeat. It is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And that is one of the set pieces amongst like 13, no pun intended, in this 45-minute stretch of just progressive insanity. And he makes you believe that a dozen guys can take an army of 200.
Yep.
Convincingly. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to get on the technical side, like the sound in that movie is unbelievable. Like the music and sound on a good stereo is something to behold.
The sound, the direction, the way the action flows from place to place. For characters whose names I didn't even know, I got awfully invested in them when they were in peril. And like it's also refreshing to see like lots of like really old dudes be absolute fucking hard asses.
Yeah,
because these are all like like the semblance of these 12 warriors is basically like somebody going, all right, find me like the 12 most deadly people in this province, and we're gonna band together.
Great.
Like it's like two guys are demolitions experts. One guy is a swords he's a master swordsman. Others are old retired samurai who are like, the age of war is ending. We don't have much to do except sit around.
Yeah.
And one of the big threats this Lord Narutogu poses is that like every time he sees conflict, he's like, wow, this is really fun. Let's do it all over again. Let's bring back the age of conflict. And everyone around him is like, oh fuck no.
Yeah, long story short, like watch it as soon as you can. Like seriously, it is I don't want to say life-changing, but it's definitely like one of those movies that you're like, I can't believe I didn't see this sooner.
Yeah, I can't believe I sat on it for 10 fucking years because it came out in 2010.
Yeah, man.
I cannot believe that. I did start Blade of the Immortal before I saw that too, and that movie has I didn't finish it, but that movie has a fucking insane opening fight sequence. I think it's like one guy versus 100 warriors, and he convincingly takes out most of them.
Awesome.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
that's been on my list.
Oh, that's 2.5 hours. Okay.
Yeah,
It's definitely gonna watch 13 Assassins. Because that's
it's long, but like I think when I read the climax was 45 minutes, I was like, damn. I mean, that's what is it? Helm's Deep is 45 minutes.
Something like that.
Helm's Deep feels like it's 45 minutes, not in a bad way. This felt like 20.
Yeah.
It is stuffed. It's so good. But anyway, yeah, I don't need a Last of Us TV show.
No, I don't really
need one at all.
Yeah, I didn't. I really didn't care until they cast Pedro, and now I'm like,
even now,
I'll give the pilot a shot. It's HBO, so I assume a certain base level of quality.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a finely made show that I won't give a fuck about. I don't know why, like, of all the game properties that turn into a TV show, like, why aren't you making a Mass Effect show? Why?
Aren't you making
why? Well, actually, it's a great point.
No, yeah. So here's the thing. I actually think your Mass Effect. I feel like that would be the next big thing, but a lot of sci-fi on TV is not that big of a deal.
Tricky.
Yeah, and like it's none of the good examples of it I can think of are doing particularly well. Like my favorite show, or one of them that's on television right now, The Expanse, got canceled at least once. And that show is
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's in very much a similar vein. And I do wonder if it's that any sci-fi show that tries to start, even shows that have the honor of
built-in audience,
the names, of being like, this is a new Star Trek show. Even those shows aren't doing that well.
That was my next thing. The things I've heard about Picard are alarming.
Well,
but then again, I found out who was writing Picard. I was like, oh no, why?
What, Scott
Picard?
No, it's Kurtzman.
It's Kurtzman. Well, he's in charge of all of the Star Trek stuff
that
on
is
television right now.
Really bad.
Well, wait, is he the 9/11 dude, or is that Orky?
Orky is like a conspiracy theorist. I know that for a fact.
Kurtzman is like, I don't know if either one of them was more of like this, type of personality, but like Kurtzman's very bang bang shooty nonsense guy. Like, it's just like someone described like something towards the end of Picard without really giving too much context. Like, Jean-Luc makes a decision to just blow something up, whereas like people who watch Star Trek all their lives be like, he would never do that. He'd be like, wow, this ancient piece of space technology should be preserved and studied, and maybe we should find a peaceful solution to this. And he's like, nah, shoot it with 48 fucking photon missiles. Like,
there's a lot. I can't get into it. I will literally die. I will actually die from talking about this, because it was 8 weeks of like, why did that happen? Who made these decisions? Who thought that this was a good idea?
There are actual F-bombs dropped in Picard, I heard.
So, well, that's because it's CBS All Access, and that stuff doesn't bother me. Curse words don't bother me. There are curse words in Discovery, and Discovery is somehow accidentally good, despite also having Kurtzman involved.
I don't like when things are just described as accidentally good.
It's accidentally good because I'm like, this shouldn't work as well as it does, but it does, and like
that means you're watching something that is like objectively flying in the face of like the material, and you're like, wow, you force this thing to function, and I don't like you.
I've heard mixed reviews on all the Star Trek stuff, and I can't bring myself to watch any of it. I don't know what it is. There's
no, and in fact, like, it's every time I hear about it, like, I'm like, maybe I'll go check it out, and then like instead I find myself watching First Contact.
I mean, my other thing is I don't want to get CBS All Access ever. So fuck that. I'm never paying for CBS.
I'm never paying for that. Yeah, I kind of feel that.
Yeah.
$5 a month, Giant Bomb, and that's the only money CBS will get from me.
Well, they're not even with CBS anymore, though. Remember,
they're Red Venture now.
Yeah. So they're out of there. I don't know. I wanted to see The Stand, but
I've heard shitty things about not even mixed. I've heard shitty things about it.
I'm all set on that. I've also heard Clarice is pretty bad, honestly.
Well, they can't use Hannibal.
The Silence of the Lambs property has somehow wandered into the waiting room of tangent Batman properties.
the Hannibal Lecter cinematic universe.
Yeah, like Alfred, Pennyworth sitting there. Batman Jim Gordon from Gotham is just sitting there. All three Jokers are there. The proposed Aunt May spy movie is in there.
Oh God!
Can't believe we didn't get that.
And Clarice is like, "Where's Hannibal Lecter?" And they're like, "Oh, no one told you? He's not coming to this meeting." Okay. Hey everybody, sorry. Discord betrayed us. Walked up and shot us in the back.
Internet betrayed us.
Yeah, my internet apparently.
Not mine this time.
It was the people who were listening to us on that one After Dark. They shut the show down.
Like you heard us talking shit earlier.
Yeah.
So
it was the liberal media coming after this show.
We were starting to talk about Stephen King stuff, and Arlen was talking about Mass Effect while assuming that we were all just being very polite and quiet. So we're just gonna kind of pick up where we left off from the Stephen King thing. Eric was talking about The Stand, and
which was bad, by the way.
No,
here's the thing.
It was terrible.
No, so I heard that it went real bad. Like it was kind of middle of the road. It was all right. I didn't hate it, but apparently it just went way off the fucking rails.
So I'm looking
the
at pictures
after I stopped.
I'm looking at pictures of Ezra Miller right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I never thought I would say like the way they handled the. God damn it, I hate saying this so much. The Trash Can Man in the original TV movie wasn't the best because it was a TV movie, but it was still like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, I get it. This is a guy who's slightly unhinged and he's easily malleable by Randall Flagg. Everything I've heard about Ezra Miller's portrayal is, he does some things.
Okay, I'm looking at one picture. He is already flirting with John Travolta's role and performance in The Fanatic. Like, that's how cringe. We're like, he's got the side, like the side lockjaw face going, which is something that like you do in the 90s to portray someone who had like a mental handicap or something. And he's got his hands close to his chest. All the notable first decisions one makes when portraying someone who has some kind of handicap. All quite bad.
Great show.
But
well, Arlen, I mean,
go ahead.
You've watched it, some of it apparently. So, what makes it so terrible?
Well, again, it apparently it only got bad after I stopped watching.
Okay.
It was
stopped.
It was like, again, it was like, all right, this is The Stand, and nobody's really doing a bad job. Fucking Mira from Aquaman is also in there, and she's fine as Randall Flagg's like mistress that he recruited as a child, which is real creepy.
That's wildly different than the book. Fuck.
Oh no, he comes to her through a Ouija board. That's how he recruits her and makes her his
wife.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Randall Flagg, but everything I hear about him makes him sound rad as fuck.
Randall Flagg is the coolest character Stephen King has ever.
Sounds like a G.I. Joe ally. Like
he is like the main bad guy, like in a couple different things. Like he is the Man in Black in the Gunslinger series. I mean he was in The Eyes of the Dragon. Like he has been the running like bad guy that is the connection to the Dark Tower in a lot of ways in a lot of Stephen King's books.
He's just like constantly like, I got magic, I'm about to use it.
So wait, was McConaughey playing this character in
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
And
no.
he didn't do a bad job. That movie has problems, but none of the actors are not the problems with that movie. It's
everything
decisions.
else.
Yes, it's the decisions that they made, and the ways in which they decided to ignore parts of Dark Tower world building and replace them with stuff that is far dumber and less interesting. Just far less good, or just and also making the movie like 90 fucking minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because that's real smart. That's a
Here's
real
the thing,
good idea.
Okay. And so I was going to Dr. Sleep about this because like I was, after watching the regular version, I was like, wow, I like newfound interest in Stephen King shit. And then look down, it says extras. Director's cut, 3 hours. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yep.
I can't believe I watched this first.
Director's cut is great.
Holy shit, what a fucking movie that is. So I went into that really mostly ignorant of what was happening because I'm not particularly married to The Shining. I like it. It's fine. It's got like some fucking fantastic acting. I think Stanley Kubrick's a kind of piece of shit though.
How dare?
I think everybody's on that train.
What's he gonna come back to the dead and yell at me for 48 hours?
Yeah.
He's in my bathroom like, do it again.
No, the thing I was saying when after I saw that movie for the first time, like, I've never read the book, but everything I know about the book, like, somehow they managed to thread the needle of being both respectful to the book and then to Stanley Kubrick's original Shining, and they managed to do it with seemingly no issues whatsoever. They're just like, we're just going to do this.
I think all the nods and inclusions of stuff that's supposed to like supplement The Shining the movie is fucking flawless. All the stuff with young Danny, with Doc Halloran, his mom, like, first of all those stand-ins, like, who is that woman playing Shelley Duvall?
She's the girl from Starry Eyes.
My gosh. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
She's like a dead ringer.
She's perfect. She has her like kind of mousy, like kind of mannerisms down. The soft voice, the look is perfect.
Yeah.
Young Danny's great. Dude, like the Doc Halloran stand-in is fucking perfect. The only one that doesn't really work is the Nicholson one.
What?
But I the Nicholson one I think works because it's getting the spirit of.
It works because it's him, but it's also not him.
Right. It because of the nature of how they're doing that, and it's the Overlook. It's not really him. It's more the building. It works, and also like Henry Thomas is fucking. He's just going for it. He's just. And I really
I think the guy playing Jack in that scene is like, the performance is so good that after like a couple seconds I was like, I don't even see that guy anymore because like this is so terrifying, and also like it's a perfect it's a character moment for Danny for just putting that specter to bed. God, I love that. Like all that shit about what the Overlook, all the mythology about Shiners and like what they're capable of, which is not something I was aware of at all. And like how they defend themselves like in their dreams. I was like, this is like some shit that I would like expect to see in Inception, but Inception went for this like really grounded conventional idea of like dream structure, and The Shining was like, yeah, you know, your brain can be a library, but your brain is a fucking like a gigantic library. Also, you have superpowers.
Well,
it's a very
No, go ahead, Arlen. Go ahead.
No, whatever my thought was, it was not very well thought out. So you go ahead.
I was just gonna say like something that, I mean, you might be aware of this, Arlen, but the craziest thing I think about the Dr. Sleep movie is that entire finale of the movie that takes place in the Overlook. That wasn't in the book at all. That was that was completely created for the movie.
Because there's no Overlook in the book.
Yeah, the Overlook is gone at the end of the original Shining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That
It's
was
so it's
like I had
Yeah.
normally when something like that happens in like a book to movie property, you're like, this was supplemental. Like this was enhanced. But like the way this was written and directed, like because the way it opens with like hollering, kind of telling him like he goes in the box, right? Teach him how to use the box.
Yeah.
I
He tells
guess,
him yeah.
yeah.
Like that that was your lead into them going back to the Overlook, but like I didn't think about that. What is the original ending? Like where's the climax at?
It
Well, they're
takes
on the
place
yeah.
at the wreckage site of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
of the
Oh,
original.
all right.
Yeah.
So he's
Right, yeah.
so the idea is the same, is that you're going to this location where shiners are,
Well,
like
that's the thing. Like the Shiner thing is also something that they elaborated a bit more in the movie, from what I know of the book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the reason why, well, in the book at least, they're all dying off because that little kid, the baseball kid that they kill off, gave them measles, and that's apparently killing off these
Oh.
people, these vampires.
Whoa.
So they're convinced that Abra's steam can cure them.
Holy shit.
That's actually a very interesting little detail. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I really fucking love that movie, and they don't do anything to confirm it, but like I've been on here saying before, in my head, every kid in all of the Stephen King stories, any of them that has like psychic powers, they are all just kids with a version of The Shining. It all comes from the same place, and they've
you told me
established that in the books. Yeah,
you told me like different episode, like it all goes back to Dark Tower.
Yes, it does. They're called breakers in Dark Tower, and they're breaking the beams that hold up the universe.
In the movie, they kind of like another thing reminded me of Inception is that, like, what is it? Rose says like you're a pusher, you push people, and so like I guess that's like a subset of Shiners, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a short story called Everything's Eventual, and it's a character that he apparently, long story short, he's hired by this mysterious company to basically just write down these bizarre symbols, and as he writes them down, he has to include something of a target that they give him, something personal within this, and that person ends up dying. And you find out in, I guess it's the final book of the Dark Tower series, that he's a breaker. So he got pulled from the short story and put in there. And using Arlen's theory that all things are connected to shine, like he just has a variation of being able to shine, just not the same way that Danny Torrance did.
That's really interesting. And like I was saying before, it made me reflect on The Shining more, and it made me kind of like appreciate all the stuff that King does in that story. That's even though, like, the Kubrick movie is not the book at all. It's quite different from what I know.
No.
But like, it did make me reevaluate The Shining and like Stephen King a little bit. I was like, wow, this shit's really fucking cool, and I didn't know how much is going to be up my alley. Like, I also banged out because therapy's been kind of good for getting me back to like consuming things I like a lot. So I went in this like fucking this tear. I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, Doctor Sleep, Invisible Man. And there was something I watched the other night. I can't remember what the fuck it was. And then I watched Possessor, and holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh my god! I don't know how I feel about it after.
Possessor. I want the other two guys to watch it now, because there are things that need to be said about that movie.
What the fuck, dude?
That's on Hulu now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And like,
okay,
it was over, and I'm like, thanks, Cronenberg Jr., for ruining my fucking night. Which like he comes close to that in Antiviral, but Antiviral is so like, it's less like thanks for ruining my like the existence of happiness. All right, fucking bleak as fuck movie. It's so mean, especially the finale. The finale is grim. And Antiviral is like, that's gross, but I'm compelled. And yeah, Possessor is just like, is just identity-based cynicism, I guess, and like it's commenting on like, what makes you you and the nature of, your identity. and control and all kinds of stuff like that. And everyone in that movie is so like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like distant,
robotic, kind of.
Robotic,
yeah, distant is good. Yeah,
I'm like, wow, like Cronenberg, his father's idea of like sci-fi is far less like desolate and depressing, I would say. And man, like his kid, I'm like, what happened to you to make this fucking movie?
His dad was David Cronenberg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's question and answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness. Like, and then there's an explosion of violence at the end of that movie.
Yes.
Some of it perpetrated against a certain individual that made me go, like, I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, I just had walked around my room. I was like, can't believe that just happened. And then I can't believe why it happened. And then the fact that it's handled so like, meh.
Yeah, it's very casual. It's like, it's whatever. It just happened. Like,
Invisible Man fucking ruled. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that movie is okay. So before the suit reveal, which is like a whole different set of interests for me. Before the suit reveal, that is the scariest ghost movie I've seen in a long time.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It is patently terrifying because like it's not played for jump scares. It's not played with like 11 violins being lit on fire. It's just it's just her walking around the house and like having really really weird shit happens.
It also like
progressively more upsetting.
There's just shots of nothing where you're like, is he right there?
Okay, yeah, I have never been more upset by a camera looking at a couch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is he fucking there?
Yeah, it's an empty frame. You're like, what am I supposed to be looking at? Is there something there? Is there not?
That scene where it's almost like It Follows, like because It Follow would get you with like someone looking behind them, and you're like, okay, that if it could be anybody, it could be anybody. But this is like that scene where the lawyer shows up and she's in the institute, and he's like, here, sign this, and this all ends, and like he gets up and leaves, and they linger on a couch, and I'm like, I don't know, like you've got me. I have no idea if he's there or not. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I've watched that movie like 2 or 3 times now with my wife, and the scene in the restaurant with her sister gets me every fucking time.
Yeah.
Like even though I know it's coming, I'm still like, oh no, I can't. No, like it's so quick and it's done so much with no aplomb. It's just like, yep, here this happens.
Okay, that's the thing about the movie I think that works the best. Like there's not a single like scare or sequence in that movie that is overdone by the use of music or editing or directing. It is all so fucking matter of fact and like you said, so quick without any grandiose to it. You're like, like
you don't even see Adrian's face until like the very end, which is like crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea what the fuck he looked like.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't seen fucking Hill House. I wouldn't know who that actor is. That's the only reason I had any clue.
I love that by the end of it, I was like, I don't think I like anybody involved in this dance anymore because like because what's her face is what's the character's name again? I can't remember her name.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah,
Elizabeth like Susan or something.
Yeah, but like
I don't know.
By the end of it, you're like, because they don't really address if Adrian was in fact locked in that room against his own will.
No.
Yeah.
Well, look, she's also like kind of the most sympathetic out of all of them, I'd say.
Exactly. Yeah, she is, but at the same time, like they even say like we can't disprove that he locked himself in there or not. Like we can't prove that he set this up. And she's like, well, this is what he does, and I just know. And he's like, okay, I get that. But from a
there's no proof.
And legal standpoint, I can't help you unless we provide proof. And she's like, well, he just does, and walks away. I'm like, oh, this is bad because this is now you're damaged and you're just jumping to conclusions. And then she very obviously kills him at the end, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't know if you were right there. I don't know if that was the right call.
I mean, it just goes to continue to prove the running theory we have in here that women shouldn't be allowed to do things.
No,
so let's add in invisibility suits.
Women can't be
Can't go to
invisible.
space.
Have to be
They-
inside at all times.
They can't go to space. They can't fight the Great Jagras.
I like the umbrella like that is of women can't do sci-fi. They can't go to space. They can't use lightsabers. They can't use the invisibility
Exactly.
suit. They can't
Yeah.
travel to different dimensions to fight the Great Jagras.
That's why there's no
Yes.
Mass Effect show.
That's right. Because
Exactly.
Probably they'll
no
cast
one,
Shep, and that's just unrealistic.
no one
It's
will
just
believe
not.
it.
Exactly.
Also,
No.
can we talk about Adrian has like a straight up Tony Stark laugh?
Yes, he does.
Dude, I love his house. His house is ridiculous. Also, I
It's
love the dog.
so
Yeah.
the dog is
Yes,
great.
The dog
his dog
shows
is
up at the
wonderful.
beginning, and she's like, I can't take you with me. I'm like, take the dog.
Yeah.
Do
I
it.
know. I know.
Take the
It's
dog.
already a terrifying movie before he's even got the invisibility suit or before he's even using it.
It really bothers me that their bed is in the middle of the room.
It's really oh god, you're right.
I wouldn't know what to do with that much space. Like his house is
Just
Yeah.
put
very
a
much
bed
like,
in the middle of the hallway. It's
his
fine.
house is lots of just fucking hallways and rooms with nothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's like, why do you have that? Because I could afford it. Like, I don't understand you. But the thing with like the medication, where he, like the small things were fucking with me more. Where like she's just looking down and having moments of like, I cannot control this situation. I don't know what's happening to me. And the thing at the restaurant, like, instead of screaming and running away, she just sits there after the knife's been put in her hand. She's like, I have literally no way of talking my way out of this.
Nope.
It's terrifying.
That's what makes it perfect.
It's so good.
Since we're talking about it, a detail that I noticed from like seeing a clip somewhere, and it's a detail that I love. Adrian's phone background is the pattern of the suit.
Wait,
Which
Oh.
Huh.
his background wallpaper is the pattern of the suit
wow.
because Adrian is that guy
Yes.
who has put together branding for his evil suit that he's going to use to antagonize his girlfriend. He's that kind of maniac.
The nature, I love the nature of the suit and why it was actually made is just left out entirely. Because like that, and I like that because either paints Adrian as like a real scary obsessive lunatic who would go to spend that much money on something that ridiculous. Or he was involved in some really spooky shit. And I think either way you explore is pretty interesting. Also, that suit itself is awesome. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's so interesting, and like the noise it makes is terrifying. When it's like partially revealed and like glitching out, I'm like, this is awesome.
If I recall correctly, in the original, Adrian, it's never explained why Adrian made the serum.
No, I don't. I don't think it is either. It feels pretty obvious to me. He's like using it for like military.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's that documentary. It's like Terror in Red, White, and Blue. It talks about like American horror and like what eras they came out in, and I think they did lump Invisible Man in like to because then like Invisible Man like invisible agent, blah blah blah, like it you know the unseen threat essentially is what it's supposed to be, I guess.
Real quick though, I wanted to point out, and it's something that doesn't really bother me, but it's still something I think about every time I watch the movie, is just how does that suit not make any noise? And how is it powered? Like there's arguably thousands of tiny cameras that are constantly dilating and changing their aperture so they can reflect the area around them. How would you not hear that coming? Like I know that's such a like but actually complaint, but it's something I always think about when I'm watching the movie.
Someone needs to re-edit that movie with like squeaky noises.
I think one of the I think like there's also other things like, especially in the rain sequence, all you have to do is look down. He's gonna displace water. Like you're gonna see his feet.
Right.
Like anywhere he's walking, like typically you don't look at your own feet when you walk, especially if you have shoes on. But if you come from outside to inside, you've got shit on your shoes. Like you're gonna leave footprints somewhere. You're gonna be seen. So, but like that is also teetering on like like lull too real. I don't need it.
No,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a personal thing that I'm like, huh, when
It's
I'm
like-
watching it. I mean,
It's like dwelling on the ages of Batman and Bane in Dark Knight Rises. It just doesn't
I
matter.
know.
And yet I know someone personally for a long time who thinks this is a problem.
for fuck's sake.
It's really not though.
How old is Bane?
Okay,
Yeah.
his idea is that Bane is 60 years old.
Okay, wait. Why?
Because he somehow interpreted these flashbacks all wrong. And like
He's clearly a teenager in the flashback. He's like
Yes.
15 in the
Yes.
flashback.
He seems to think that like none of these things happen congruently.
Has
He's
he
like,
ever seen
no,
a
he's like-
15-year-old?
He's like, no, Batman became Batman in this time period, and Bane became Bane in this time period, and that happened well before this. I'm like, you didn't think they could happen on different sides of the world, maybe at the same times? And his
No.
thing is like, he's like, so I'm watching and he also thinks that Batman's in his 50s. I'm like, Batman's not in his fucking 50s.
It would be cool if he was supposed
He's
to
like
be in
40
his
at
50s.
best in those in Dark Knight Rises.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, so it's just two geriatric men who somehow have the energy to beat the fuck out of each other. I'm like, well, first of all, they don't do that. They get angry and punch each other in the face for 10 minutes at the end. That's it.
Yeah.
And then Batman's
Yeah.
like, what if I hit him harder?
Right. And what if I hit him specifically in the face?
Yeah.
Since I'm the one who's closest to, oh God, rocketing towards 50. 50 is not geriatric. 50
Wait,
is
no,
not
wait, no,
geriatric.
it is.
Well,
Eric,
I did
keep
tell him,
talking.
I was like, name
Fuck all
redacted.
of
You're
you.
almost 40. So I'm like, are you telling me that you're approaching the point where you can no longer walk? Like, what are you trying to tell me?
here's the thing. For two men who are supposed to be like super skilled fighters who are like
Peak physical fitness.
they are relatively geriatric compared to other people in that world.
They're also foregoing all those skills and, like you said, and just focusing like, I'm gonna hit you in the schnoz for 5 minutes.
So that's the major weakness of the Nolan movies. Looking back on them,
Krav
is the
Maga.
fights are so
just punch
dumb.
people in the fucking middle of the face for 5 minutes, and you'll beat them.
Yeah, just keep punching. Just keep. It's
Hold
like,
your elbows in the air. That's what you gotta do.
Honestly, here's the thing: it shouldn't even be that long. Like if you punch either guy in the nose, there's something on their face. Like you hit Bane in the face hard enough, the middle of his face, he's gonna go like, hold on 1 second. I'm starting to cry.
Time out.
Oh yeah, you get hit square in the nose, like you are literally seeing stars and like eyes.
You're dead.
Like
your nose bone flies to your brain.
You're in so much pain. And yeah, like the first fight is, I think, great because Bruce is just like, actually, and having shown you and Hunter and Arlen, I did a re-edit of that where I added music from Dark Knight Returns. And I think it actually makes that scene a lot better. Bane is not
good for different reasons. I actually like the. I like the choice of no sound.
Yeah, I like choice not having music because it's like, oh, this isn't victorious. This isn't heroic. This is embarrassing for on purpose. Bane is not doing anything in that fight.
Yeah.
He is letting Bruce punch himself out, and it happens really fast. Like I think by the time they get off the railing, like after Bane rappels down, Bruce is throwing the weakest looking fucking punches I've ever seen, and Bane is like, cool, all right, that's nice. Bam,
keep it going.
Like keep going, nice flow.
That's adorable.
Yes. That's very entertaining.
Yeah, I think the first fight is really like cerebral and interesting because like Batman's like, I'll turn the lights out. I'll use my poppy things at you. Other tricks, and Bane's like, that's very interesting. I've also done birthday parties.
I also went to the Magic Castle.
I'm also a Hogwarts graduate. Yeah, and like the second fight is Bruce is like, I'm gonna punch you in the face until you quit.
Yeah.
And then let my not girlfriend shoot you with a shotgun.
And then have no qualms about you murdering this man.
Right.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna get stabbed by a knife. Alfred, I've been stabbed. I've been stabbed by a knife. Come get me, Alfred.
Was it the
Also,
size of a tangerine?
When he gets
Also-
lit on fire,
he
he gets his ass handed to him.
He gets his ass handed to him and gets lit on fire. Alfred.
Alfred,
There was dogs, Alfred. My one weakness.
I fell in a building, Alfred.
Also, hey Bruce, I have a piece of advice for you. You wanted to turn your head so badly that you let yourself get stabbed in the ribs, okay?
Yeah.
Because you begged for that armor that had separated plates so you could move better. Instead, you risked being a immovable tank, okay? Because I like that first bat suit better, to be honest. The second one makes him look very dainty.
I like the second
Here's
one.
the
It's
thing.
like he looks
I like
goofy
it
as fuck.
It does.
That whole trilogy doesn't hold up for me. That whole
especially in the daylight sequences in Dark Knight Rises, because he shows up. I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, look at his head. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it looks so small.
Yeah.
And then I played
Eat a sandwich, Bruce.
and then I played exactly. I played Arkham Knight, and I'm like, why does the Michael Keaton Batman suit look more intimidating than this fucking super sleek, high tech, super modernized Dark Knight suit? But in the game, you can see how it moves, and like you can see all the pieces on it clearly, and you're like, wow, that looks kind of like. I'm like, how didn't you die wearing that?
It also helps. It also helps that Arkham Knight Bruce is a brick shit house. Like he's just a huge man.
And then you put the Dark Knight model on him, like the suit.
And he looks like a teenager.
And he shrinks. It's so weird. Which is then funnier because when you put him into the Batman vs Superman suit, he somehow becomes larger.
It's so good.
Fucking scary. But yeah, that suit does not hold up, especially in the daylight. His head looks weird. He looks very small.
Yeah.
I like the first suit better. But yeah, if he wasn't so hung up on moving his head, Talia would not be able to stab him from 2 feet away.
Yeah.
Because he separated those stupid plates.
It's a tangerine.
Just because
I'm going to break my own neck now.
I'm going to there's some random shit in the news I kind of want to maybe just go over before we eventually tire out.
Before we pass out.
Yeah, Danny Elfman's scoring Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's gonna score the man theme.
Stop it.
It's happening.
Hunter.
It's happening whether you like it or not.
Here's the thing. I am forced to support Hunter's theory for reasons that should be apparent to everybody. So yes.
So like I've really soured on Elfman's later movie work. I don't think a lot of it's that great. I think his
that's fair. Yeah.
I think his score on Justice League is the laziest thing I've ever heard from that guy. Especially because he's like, I'll just fucking steal the Superman theme for a fucking hot minute and then just do my own Batman theme. But then COVID happened and he quarantined himself, and suddenly the man who said, I will never do any Boingo material ever again is re-recording versions of his old Boingo songs. The new version of Running on Treadmill is fan-fucking-tastic. Because he stripped it down. It's just him and a guitar. And then he releases Happy, and it's the first, I think, new song he's made in years. And now he's got a second new single out and then a new album coming out. And this Danny Elfman, who has now had time to, I guess, dwell on lots of things and has been left with nothing but his own thoughts and his recording equipment, seems like a reinvigorated artist. So now I'm really interested in the score because I want to see what he's been kicking around his head.
Yeah, like I said, he's gonna do the man thing theme.
Hunter, I don't care what theme it is. I just give a shit how it sounds.
So there's a lot to unpack there. I really don't care about his stuff on Justice League. Whatever. I just don't care. I have no thoughts on that
because of his background, because he's in a band I fucking love so much, and because he's done Spider-Man, Beetlejuice, all these fucking iconic themes, and then he gets to a movie that was supposed to be a big deal, but there's so much more going into it than just him. Hearing it, I was like, wow, not even you showed up to work. That's upsetting.
I mean, a lot of people didn't show up to work. A lot of people really just decided to not give a shit. This is interesting to me because Danny Elfman, I agree, he's not as consistent as say he was in the 90s, or even in the late 80s.
Well, especially when like Tim Burton was like, he like slapped a handcuff on him. He's like, get ready to do all these crappy remakes that nobody asked me to do.
Yeah. Well, also, it's really weird because I think they're such good friends and co-workers that he just is like, yeah, I'll do the shitty movie that you also don't want to be doing. We'll be together in our working on things that we both hate.
We'll both show up and give a half effort.
Most likely starring Johnny Depp.
And occasionally Tim's like, I got one that I like. And he's like, you do? And then Big Fish happens. So occasionally Danny Elfman challenges himself and he gets to do something interesting. So in the context of this, since it is Doctor Strange that we're talking about, he did the Ultron score. And I fucking love the Ultron score.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he did the Ultron score. It was him and is it Tyler Bates?
I didn't know that.
Him and the guy who's done maybe the most MCU stuff outside of Silvestri, which I think is Tyler Bates. The two of them did the Ultron score. And I love the Avengers theme as is. I love it. I think it's perfect. I love his version of it as well because he keeps the bum, 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 but then he adds this other thing, this like march to it, and it's essentially it's Ultron's theme.
It's Brian Taylor. Brian Taylor and
Dan Elfman. Yeah, and it's I love it. I love that. I love that. I love all of that stuff in that movie. So if it's him returning to Marvel, I'm in because he's gonna keep the Michael Giacchino score and the stuff from that we all fucking love. That's my favorite part of the first Doctor
also,
Strange, arguably.
It's him and Raimi
do we
again
love
too.
the score?
Yeah.
What was that?
What?
Do we love the Doctor Strange score?
Oh no!
Yeah.
It was.
Wait.
Oh, looks like we get to dump the call. Oh no.
Oh
no.
Okay, Leo, tell us why the Doctor Strange score isn't great. Please tell us.
I'm just asking because like I would, there's a none of the scores ever really stuck with me besides like the main Avengers theme, but that's it. And I'm not like
these shows as if he's walking by a window. He's like,
yeah, Leo. I don't. Here's the thing. I know more of those scores, and I like more of them than a lot of other people do. So I'm a bad person to ask.
All right, fair enough. I just wanted to, find a good way to just barge in.
No,
I mean,
I'm glad that you did.
You should have said the Winter Soldier theme sucks, and I would have assassinated you.
Well, I would have. Yeah, I would have hunted you down.
No, you Winter Soldier
theme. And yeah, I would have. And then the screaming eagle thing as I blow you up with a grenade launcher.
As I kick you into a jet engine.
Yes.
I'm there.
That made me sad. I was like, oh no, you could have killed them, but you didn't have to do that.
But I'm like Giant Man in Civil War, where I'm just like passing out.
Well, back to this revelation that you dropped on us about Age of Ultron. Like, I'm shocked that wasn't more advertised because I mean, regardless of Danny Elfman's current cred within like the music industry, whatever it might be, like he's still a name that people hear and will be like, oh well, this should be pretty good. So I'm shocked that Marvel didn't run with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's just
at
like
his behest though, because he's been very he has been very quiet.
Yeah,
like he's not doing a lot of public shit, and I guess like I said, a lot of the music he's making is like just in his house.
Yeah.
Well, what was that, Leonardo?
No, I said like right now when Arlen said that he did the Ultron score, I was like, what the what?
Yeah, we all did. We're like, what?
I was like, what? No way.
Yeah, it's shocking. Shocking if things will be revealed on tonight's episode of After Dark.
But yeah, I'm excited for whatever he does with because again, he'll keep the stuff from Giacchino's score that's really good. He'll keep this Doctor Strange theme, but he'll add stuff to it that is very him and fits Sam Raimi and the movie in general, like, yeah, this I think that this is a knockout. As far as I'm
Arlen,
concerned.
what would you say is like your favorite song from the Doctor Strange soundtrack?
My heart will go on.
I don't I don't know if there's a specific song from it. But I do know the Doctor Strange score pretty well. Like I know I like it's one of the ones that I think about. If you ask me like what are the top 5 or 10 Marvel themes, I would say the Doctor Strange theme is up there.
I remember the plinky strings. I remember that.
Yeah, lots of like ding ding
Yeah,
ding ding.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
It was a very Sherlock Holmesy in some points.
Yeah, it did feel like Sherlock Holmes.
It's almost like it's a
hey guys, did you know that he
call
played
and
Sherlock
response to
Holmes?
the Harry Potter theme in a way. Like it's
I mean, personally, I just like the fact that they had Earth, Wind, and Fire in the movie.
It's true.
Yeah, that was
pretty great.
That was also pretty cool. That was pretty good. Yeah.
I also like that Depeche Mode tried to play, Strange Love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That joke was for nobody, and I'm happy with it.
Yep. Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. Yeah. What do we say, Mr. Doctor? Yeah.
Weird gynecologist.
It's strange. Well, maybe it is, but who am I to judge?
Okay, that is the best joke in the movie.
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. Mads Mikkelsen is funny throughout the entire fucking movie because he's a sociopath who's cracking wise.
It's amazing.
It's the only
He's
good
doing
thing
is amusing.
Yeah.
Also, it's Mads Mikkelsen, and he's naturally terrifying. So when he is telling jokes of like, "Are you going to come through the screen and kill me?"
Please, sir.
Well, you should be worried about that at all times.
Yeah.
That a wild Mads Mikkelsen.
When
will
I was
come out of the screen
when
and
I was
kill you.
playing universally loved game Death Stranding, the whole time I was just worried he was gonna come through the screen and shoot me in the face.
I'm so
As
glad
you
you brought that up because like that game disappeared from my life altogether. Like I stopped thinking about it because I didn't buy it.
It's so good though.
Yeah, I want to get to it, but like someone recently brought it up and I was like, oh my god, that came out like last fucking year. I just never fucking bothered to try it. And then up until this very moment forgot Mads Mikkelsen was even in it.
To me, the creepiest thing that I ever saw from that was when Christmas came and Hideo was like, "Hey, here's a new cutscene for the game where Mads Mikkelsen brings you presents."
Yes.
And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Please,
I
no,
respect
sir.
that Hideo Kojima is a game designer who will waste his own time doing like making sure that fucking happens.
That's why he's the best.
And I respect him, right?
He's
But
an expert in the excess nonsense that video games like need more of.
Like lovingly crafted Monster Energy drink cans.
Yes.
Okay, what's more egregious, that or the ramen in Final Fantasy 15?
No, it's the Monster Energy. The ramen is so much fun.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Well, I love in Final Fantasy 15 that game stops to become a ramen commercial. Like at some point, you get that.
It's so good.
And what's his nuts? Big sword guy who leaves and mopes all the time is like, wow, I just love ramen. It's so good. You should try some. It's over there. It's this price. I love it. It's great. Looks at the camera.
Available at Aldi's.
It's like a fucking paid plug. It's so good.
It's really good.
I actually shop at Aldi's. They don't have a very good selection of ramen.
They don't know.
No.
I haven't seen an Aldi's in 10 years.
We actually just got Aldi's in New Hampshire. And it's funny because I worked at Market Basket for so long. So if I go into a grocery store, I get a little judgy. So I'll just feel like Aldi's will be like, huh, couldn't be bothered to break anything down today.
You do what I do to movie theaters, and I walk in and be like, oh, this setup sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
How many ushers do you have working? One? Pathetic.
You do know that Aldi like doesn't have bags. You have to bring your own, and like the way they stock things is to cut down on the prices for everyone around them.
Yeah, but it's just like when I walk in, I cannot get out of that mindset that I'm better than them.
I'm just like, what is this cost efficient stocking?
This is nothing like what I did the old days.
I did say I didn't want to talk about Gina Carano ever again, but the solution to not recasting her character is said that she got into an X-wing and it blowed up.
I think just pulling the cell of her last scene off of screen like they did in The Simpsons and just saying she died on the way back to Alderaan.
She died on the way back to Alderaan.
Yes.
Yes.
She got to Alderaan, found it didn't exist, and then killed herself.
Yes, exactly.
Or on the way back, she jumps out of jumps out of hyperspace and is immediately struck by Alderaan debris and blows up.
Yes.
Even Alderaan destroyed the Denier.
Exactly. Yeah.
She thinks it still exists.
She's like, no, I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna step outside. I'm gonna go and land on this rock. This is Alderaan. This is livable.
She
And then she died.
dies immediately in the coldness of space.
Well, then if she wants to get a job, she should start working with Orky, like, because they can make a great 9/11 like trooper movie.
Yeah.
Oh God! Don't give them ideas, Eric, because they'll do it.
Funded
People
by
are
Ben
like-
Shapiro.
But the alternative solution presented by fans is that just cast Lucy Lawless. I'm like, yes.
Or,
do
yeah.
you know,
I don't know.
Danny
I'm fine with no Cara Dune.
We don't need
ever
Cara
again.
Dune. She, like they like clearly they had an end in mind for that character, which was she becomes a marshal at the end.
Yep.
Right.
Or if they could just say like she did, whatever the fuck.
And Star Wars is an interesting enough universe that you can just find a new character.
Yeah, just be like,
it's
hey.
yeah.
You can get Timothy Olyphant to come in and just be a cowboy.
Okay,
or-
actually, I
Cad
really want
Bane.
that.
I mean, I want
Specified.
that because
I fucking love Cad Bane so much.
yeah, more Timothy Olyphant.
I love that
Please,
he's
but-
like hello, heavily armored man of death. I'll shoot you here dead in this bar.
yeah.
Well, with
Yeah.
Cara Dune not coming back, it continues to fall under the umbrella of women can't be in space.
Yeah, she
oh
can't.
my god.
No,
Women
that's
can't
why-
use laser machine guns, okay?
No.
That's why.
Right.
That's why she wasn't actually fired. She left because she realized
Yes.
the show takes place in space. Is like, wait,
Yes.
guys, I'm a
Women-
woman. I
yeah.
can't.
Women
Yeah.
cannot be shock troopers.
It's unrealistic. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't.
Exactly.
And also, they were going to ask her to fight a great joggeress later, and she's like, "Whoa, let's slow down here, guys."
That's not believable.
You want to give me a lightsaber and maybe find a great joggeress? This is clearly over my own boundaries.
Ah,
There's
Speaking
a
of women in
train-
space, do we want to talk about Supergirl getting cast?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's fucking interesting because like
Have you guys seen the video for it?
no.
Yes,
No,
I
I
did. It
haven't.
was. It was very. It was very touching.
I saw like a
Yeah,
quiet
very-
version
very
of it
sweet.
on Instagram, like auto playing.
because they showed her the suit, right? It looks like Cavill's. I saw a picture.
Yeah,
of
it was like Cavill's suit.
Yeah.
Andy Muschietti basically is like pretending to be like, oh, we're gonna do like one more like interview, like your test or whatever. And he asks her a few questions, and then he's like, cool. Well, you're Supergirl, and she's like, yeah, and she cries, and it's very touching. It's very nice.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
also,
think-
he's confirmed to be doing the Flash now, which is its own story
now.
on its.
I like
It's
that
fun.
things keep
Yeah.
happening with
For
the
now.
Things keep happening with the Flash movie, except making a Flash movie. Like it's like
I mean,
it's
we
like
have
saying, I'm gonna
director
build.
who has
I'm gonna
cast
make a
somebody,
puzzle,
though.
and you get a box, and you go, "I've made a puzzle.
right. Yeah.
Making the puzzle."
This is the most substantive. Fuck me. This is the most substantive movement I've ever seen. I've seen in what is it? Fucking 15 years that they've been trying to make this goddamn movie.
It's been a while.
Like,
Yeah, because like they keep
Yeah.
having, it's like it like that and the Black Adam movie are in a race to see how much stuff they can accrue to make a movie without actually making a movie.
Well, I'm like 90% sure Black Adam's never gonna happen.
no, it's a money laundering front.
The Rock has too much clout to like somehow not put this movie on like the fucking, I forgot the phrases, but have to not put it on track quick on fast track.
Yeah.
Not fast track.
No, that makes sense. Like, I mean, if he's going out and saying, yeah, this is happening, I don't see them not making it, because having him star in a DC movie is guaranteed like box office returns.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter how good, bad, or otherwise it is, people will go see it just because of him.
I think he's also smart enough to know like when decisions are being made in a movie that are going to result in a critically, a negatively critically received, movie, barring like Skyscraper, which is like, I just want to make Die Hard. Okay, Rock, do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's take Die Hard and Towering Inferno and mash them together. And
like
Yes.
even
Also, I don't have a
Rampage-
leg.
Yeah, and,
Right.
weirdest decision. Even Rampage, like I know people who saw Rampage were like, yeah, it was fine. Like I don't have a problem with that movie.
Rampage
Pretty
is
fun.
good, actually.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Rampage.
Rampage
It
is fun, yeah.
was
He's the
entertaining.
kind of star who won't let himself be in a bad movie because he
Well,
has that
or
much.
he won't be. He won't let
like
himself.
Leo said, he has that much power.
Yeah, he won't. Like the last time I can think of where he was the problem with the movie was Hercules. I remember there being people who were like, he's not that good of an actor to be playing Hercules. I can't remember another time since then where anybody said he was the problem
How
with the
fucking
movie.
good of an actor do you have to be Hercules?
I mean, I guess people weren't impressed. They were like, all right, I guess that's Hercules. He looks like Hercules.
Even Jason Momoa was the best part about that fucking terrible Conan movie.
Oh god.
He was trying.
I forgot they made that.
Oh, I forgot about Hercules.
I did too.
Yeah, I totally forgot that movie existed until Arlen said anything about it. Like it showed up and disappeared.
Then I remember 2011 or wherever it came out.
The funny thing is, I sat there like me and a friend of mine watched that Conan movie, and like within 5 minutes, I went, "Oh no!" Like, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not.
Was it when you first saw Rose McGowan, or was it when she started speaking that you realized that?
No, it was. I forgot she was in the movie. It was in that like
women don't belong in historical myths or whatever.
What
was that?
Women don't belong in historical myths.
No,
either.
They don't.
Women can't be in eldritch fantasy stories.
Yeah, they don't belong in Hyboria.
Women did not exist until like 1915.
It's true. Yeah, we created them in a lab. There were no women
exist
before
until 1955 when we created the kitchen. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
wait,
my God.
Okay, let's dissect that for a second. You think the kitchen was not invented until 1955?
Hunter, the point of the joke was to make it as stupid as possible.
Well, Hunter, before then, it was just one big room.
It was just a room where you ate in.
And people were like, it's like a Sims, like the Sims. Like, I keep setting my house on fire because the oven is in the living room, but the couch.
Right.
Well, no, ovens didn't exist. It was just a large fire pit in every house. That's it. That's it. You just cooked all your food.
Yeah.
And then 1955, after World War II.
Yeah. All houses were like the little hut that they make in Enemy Mine, where you're constantly worried about a beak coming through the ground and eating you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God.
I think we just end the show on that horrendous, horrendous topic.
Yeah.
Also, it's 10:15 at night over here, which means it's like I don't know, 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 1:15.
Yeah.
All right then. That was a very I'm not sure how to describe this episode.
That was an episode for sure.
It wasn't as punch drunk as what you guys were talking about last week. So
no.
Also, my internet survived this entire recording. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Shockingly, mine did not.
It cuts out right now. I said when you disappeared, I made you watch the tape. And then Hunter was like, "It's like it follows." I was like, "What? Did I go over and fuck his modem? Like, how does that even work?"
Yes. I still want to know what the hell that little like makeup thing was she was reading a book on.
Oh God, the seashell that she reads the book on. Yeah. The director's talked about that. The director's he's into some weird stuff. He likes to go strange with it.
What, like BDSM? What?
Well, no, like have any of you seen Under the Silver Lake yet?
No, not yet. I want to.
Okay, that movie gets into some weird like occult shit that's like really strange.
Oh,
what are we talking about?
It's like Under the Silver Lake. It's the follow-up to It Follows from the same director.
It's Andrew Garfield is in it.
Yes. Yeah, that's the movie that I told you about where he punches a child who's holding a Spider-Man comic book.
Yeah.
In case you thought the movie had any subtlety.
I gotta watch this movie.
And then he went, "Sorry."
And he pulled up his hood and skateboarded away.
Exactly.
To what's his face? That Philip Phillips. What the fuck is that guy's name?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No, that fucking terrible song, Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was like everywhere for like 2 seasons.
Oh God, fucking damn
it! I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know exactly.
For you, it's the song that was in fucking everything. It was in commercials.
Imagine Dragons, dude.
Yeah, it was. It was
everyone's favorite band.
It was in like every cell phone commercial. It was in every ad you can think of, and then it popped up in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, for
you,
or get DMCA. We're going to prison.
Wow, so it's just a bunch of white guys yelling a song at me. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
Eric, our rendition is completely accurate to what.
No, that's actually we're a pitch perfect.
And to supplement what Hunter said, it's just like Imagine Dragons, in that it is just a white guy saying things at you.
I'm actually pretty sure it is actually Imagine Dragons.
No, I think it's some guy with a dumb name. I'm pretty sure.
I think Leonardo's been trying to say it. What?
¿Te lo canto en español o qué?
Don't bring that Italian in here. It's not welcome.
Wow, there we go again.
There it is.
Get out of here. Get out of here, Dominic DeCoco. I can't remember the guy's name.
No, you got it right.
Oh no, well, you know what? Okay, just wait until Blackula comes out. All right.
Oh,
it is Philip Phillips, by the way.
My favorite thing is that Dominic DeCoco does have a cameo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, confirming the Tarantino.
Does he?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not like a cameo, but he's apparently the director of the movie that Leo was in, where he lights those Nazis on fire from the trailer. Yeah, he's supposed to be the director of that movie.
Really?
Or something like that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but there's some connection there.
But how? Because they both die at the end.
Maybe it's not him.
The character in Bastards is stealing the identity of someone who I think is supposed to be at that event.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Because they're in what's her face's posse.
Gorlami.
It's something like that. Like I heard the name and I was like, oh, that's an Inglourious Bastards reference. So he just like hard confirmed it.
I mean, they had already confirmed it in later on in After True Lies, because they were trying to say that the director, or not True Lies, God damn it, True Romance.
True Romance.
Yeah, because the director of that is supposed, or the director they go to meet is supposed to be related to the Bear Jew, I thought.
Yes, Donowitz has a relative, either Jackie Brown or whatever you just said.
True Romance.
There are other ones like
Vic Vega and Vinny Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and fucking Jules. Jules is supposed to be the great descendant of Django. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, and Kill Bill might be the pilot that they were filming in Pulp Fiction. It might be
the plot is identical.
Yeah.
Well, I've always heard that like Kill Bill, and I forget which other Tarantino movie is supposed to be like the films that people from his universe would watch, because in a world where Hitler was killed so amazingly violently along with most of the Nazi regime, it would make sense that like ultra-violent like cinema and just media would be popular.
Yeah, and that's why like a lot of his characters sit around like at tables and just discuss film, because it's so historically relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can bail now, because that was a fantastic way to turn that horrendous series of jokes around.
Was that horrendous?
Or were they all true?
Girls can't do podcasts. I say as I'm currently encouraging someone who listens to Movie Dumpster to go create a podcast.
Right. I mean, we've never had one on this show, so we can't confirm.
They can't be on podcast.
Well, it sounds like a good excuse to drag Jenna on here so she can talk about how much she loves Dragon Ball and what it's like to work with Len Kawasinski. I mean, apparently he's very fucking nice, but I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
I'll be honest, I don't know who that is.
He's a genre budget filmmaker. Like it's stuff you see on like I think 3 of his movies have been on Best of the Worst.
Oh.
Yeah. Like Swamp Zombies 2.
Classic.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
Stone Cold classics.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of that, I'll just go into my plugs here. We recorded a commentary for the movie Stone Cold with Brian Boswick and Lance Henriksen. And Lance Henriksen is a leader of a biker gang who somehow looks significantly older in the 1990s than he does now. Because he looks like shit in that movie. And Brian Boswick looks like a failed genetic clone of John Cena with a bad mullet.
Oh no!
It is also
but can you see him?
You can. Unfortunately, the whole movie because he's dressed like an idiot. That movie also, and you can hear our reactions in the commentary track if you're a Patreon subscriber. That movie suddenly becomes painfully, shockingly relevant because it climaxes with a gang of bikers storming the Capitol building.
Oh no!
Oh fuck!
Yes,
now we're on a podcast. Thanks
with
for bringing
weapons, and they're killing and hurting people, and it's fucking ridiculous. At some point, Lance Henriksen just shoots an entire panel of judges.
What is this movie again?
Stone Cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking crazy. And I think it was all filmed. Like all the exterior shots were filmed outside the actual Capitol, and like inside was probably somewhere else. But like,
oh no,
it is fucking freaky. The timing of it.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was just confused when you're saying Boswick. It's Bosworth. Brian Bosworth.
Okay.
The Boz. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he a thing? Because I've never heard of him.
I think he was a football player, and then he had a little bit of success in movies.
I was thinking he is a slab of meat that doesn't do a fucking thing. Like he's like a bad Lex Luger. Like he just doesn't do anything. He just
I'm looking at some of his movies. It's One Tough Bastard from 1995. Then the next thing is Revelation Road something from 2013. 2015, Do You Believe, which the poster is a big cross. And then 2019, it's a Netflix movie called The Reliant, and it's Kevin Sorbo is the lead.
Someone had
birds of a feather.
Someone had a interesting.
Someone had a come to Jesus moment.
A come to Jesus decade, you mean? Because just
I think you mean come to I have an empty wallet and I need to make money.
Yes. Tell me how you're doing it, Mr. Sorbo. What happened to you after Hercules?
He was also in What Men Went in 2019.
Oh no.
Kill me.
So yeah, we did that. We have Blackula coming out. We recorded Leprechaun 4 in space. For St. Patrick's Day.
I at least recorded the good one.
I will say it's the most interesting one that I've seen. We may do the WWE Studios one next year. But we were talking about it, and like from everything I hear about that movie, it's barely a Leprechaun movie, and they advertise that they hired Hornswoggle, the little person wrestler, to be in that movie to be Leprechaun. Apparently, he's just not in the movie. Like, just period. Like, they keep filming the monster from the chin up. They never see a full body reveal, and it's lit so terribly you can't see it. So, if you're looking for him, good luck. And we are also recording Deadly Spawn coming up soon. So we got that coming out. Deadly Spawn was was a unofficial, unlicensed sequel to Alien.
I thought you were going to say a prequel to Venom. Because of the design.
They are very symbiote looking. Yes. But it's more like the troll from Willow if they were made out of baked potatoes. And then you gave
that's exactly
it's a lump of thumbs with teeth. Like that's all the monster is. Yeah, it's really good. And then after that, I don't know what we're doing, but I've got a lot of video stuff coming out. My Bloody Valentine thing, which is very well received. It's got like 500 likes on 500 views on Instagram right now. I think it's almost at 600. And I just dropped a new thing for coffee, and Blackula is coming out I think next week. I'll be doing something for that. I'm also doing something for Justice League. I'm doing something for Mortal Kombat, and I'm doing something for the end of February. So we have lots of shit coming out.
Nice.
You want to go?
Yes, Hunter, jump in to tell us to not follow you anywhere.
Well, I had a whole bit, but
no, you go, Hunter. You go. You do it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll just judge your bit now.
Okay, so all right. So don't follow me on social media. Don't at all.
It's the same bit. Like
no, it's not. Hold on, give me a sec. All right. So the only thing I really want to plug is if you live in Vermont, you should just move.
Wait,
Vermont sucks. You should not live in Vermont.
This bit has been bubbling for 3 hours. Everybody, like
Vermont is the worst state I've ever been to. Like, there's nothing going on. Just move out.
Yeah, but that's where Bernie Sanders is from.
I mean,
they got good senators in Vermont. That's all I'll say.
Compared to our previous calls to action, which just to list them off real quick, telling all Nazis to kill themselves, and after subscribing to our channel, of course, subscribe, and then
don't comment,
yourself.
Don't say anything. Just do it.
Yeah. This is the nicest call to action that we've probably ever done.
Yeah,
so good job.
That state sucks. It's got a good senator. That's it.
All right. Follow me at young_commie on Instagram.
I hate all
of you. Fuck Ted Cruz. I'm gonna say that out loud because yes, fuck Ted Cruz. The way that he fucked his way through Cancun, probably. No, I'm not saying it again. Saying it again. You person.
I'll supplement that by saying Ted Cruz is an inspiration to all invertebrates everywhere. You too can be a senator, even if you're a jellyfish.
Exactly.
But he went to Cancun to lasso the sun back and bring it back to Texas.
No, he went to Cancun so he could be with his species. He was going to jump into a big giant pot of jellyfish and just go be with his people.
He was going to go live his best life.
Yeah, he was going to be with his fucking gelatinous, spineless people.
Connor, you're being too kind. He was born from the oil spill, from the BP oil spill. That's where he was.
He jumps in the water with the jellyfish. They just sting him to death.
Yes.
It could happen.
Let's see. LHP. We just did an episode on fucking goddamn it.
These plugs are going great, Arlen.
Fuck you. Am I having a stroke? God damn it. We're going to be doing an episode on Jane Campion. Again, a director I'm sure Connor does not know. Canadian director.
My favorite one.
Part of our month of female directors. We recently did an episode on Karen Kusama, in which we covered Aeon Flux and Girl Fight. So check that out also. And yeah, that's my plug.
All right.
Just take your food calmly. You won't drop it.
Since I got relegated to last here, I'm Eric Fedorchuk. You can find me at Eric_Fedor. There are pictures of dogs and cats and food and comics on there. I'm floating around the Phantom Zone, where you can have fun conversations with our, unfortunately, due to timing, had to be relatively quiet tonight, guest Leonardo. And also, I'd like to tell everyone, Vermont, kill yourself. I will go one step further than Hunter. Kill yourself. Leave
the state of Vermont.
Leave that state a barren wasteland.
It's already a barren wasteland.
We're going to get a cease and desist from Vermont.
Oh,
cover yourself in molten syrup.
Bernie Sanders going to call us and be like, "You cannot."
I hope all.
I'm once again urging you not to tell people to.
I hope all your tar paper shacks fall on yourselves. And outside of that, you can write about how much you hate Vermont. You can send all your hate stories about Vermont to young_Calvin. That's on Instagram and I believe on Twitter. Outside of that, yeah.
Hunter also has a Parler account, I believe.
I believe he does.
A Parler account where I talk about freedom of speech and how Gina Carano is right all the time.
Yeah.
And how women can't go to space. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And mostly they also cannot fight the Great Jaggers. Yeah. That's about it for me. I don't know if Nardo is unmuted at this point or not. I don't think he is.
Nope.
He has 1 second. Done. Gone. Bye.
Right. All right. See ya. See you, Leo.
Bye.
Bye, Leo. Bye, everybody.